Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Showing you a project that I'm working on today that maybe you've seen a little bit of already on some of my other films. But what I'm doing here is bouncing off of a couple different government open API websites to use their data to build upon my website that has no database. So ultimately, this is just for recreation, kind of camping and whatnot. This is all for fun. But let's say you're building a website and you need to go get access to things that are, basically open APIs for the public. So what I've done is gathered up a list of every place in Arizona. Let's say I just hit something, who knows, whatever. And from here, as you can see, I'm not really familiar with this part of town, but it is going ahead and returning places that I can go camping in the area. Here's a little bit of information. Here's the website, a photo of what they got. You can kind of see some surrounding stuff of Coolidge, and that's kind of how it works. So as you can see here, I'm going to hit another place in the from the Maricopa website. And sometimes it returns sometimes there's nothing in the area, and you can't, there's nothing really to see. Well, on the other hand, there's a lot sometimes too. I would recommend kind of having fun with these APIs. If you ever go and take a look at the way that these things are built out, like here I was getting the list of all the places in the states, or in the state, and from there, as you can see, it's giving me quite a bit of information when you make this API call. So let's clear this out and just start typing. And as you can see, this type fired off after 2 characters. And here's the characters of PR and the address it went to and a response. And it starts telling me all these things in the area that might be affiliated with something like Prescott, you name it. It just gives you a whole list of some information of where they're located from longitude and latitude. That's great. I need that because this here is going to need the name and longitude and latitude. And then I'm going to fire that request off. For instance, let's say, I don't know, Douglas. Now here we are looking at Douglas in Arizona, and there's quite a bit of camping, tours, things like that. And it's going to tell me all the things that I can do in Douglas. And I can go further with their websites as well. So it's an interesting little concept. And I'm going to show you a little bit more about how I did it with the government website. So this is just a open API. Basically, government has written out this thing, and if you want to go to do any tours or camping or whatever, this is they're hopefully you're going to use this. So I'm going to utilize their API. I'm going to send them the place and the location of where I want to go I got from the state website, Maricopa, at least that's my county. And then from there, let's just say Prescott. I will just hit Prescott, and as you can see, it starts bringing me up a whole bunch of information based on Prescott and its location. So, as you can see here, here's my address. It says, where's he headed? Going to Prescott. You want exact? No. Kind of a generic area. And I got a few kind of things it's going to ask me. Really kind of a basic search of what's near Prescott in a broad horizon of everything there. And so you can get more specific, or you can use multiple different requests to get different kind of things at the same time. As you can see, the response, they're always going to be structured the same. So luckily, if you want to use multiple different kinds of requests for each time, you make a list of them, and each one will return the data in the same kind of structure in JSON structure that you've already ready for. So as you can see, I'm getting tons of information. I'm getting photos, I'm getting descriptions, and I'm getting images from each of the places near Prescott. Well, that's great. The government's already given you this for free. I mean, why wouldn't people just want to go to their government site? And that's true. However, if you're building something like, let's say you're a travel company, or you want to build a site out for a hotel in your area that you're going to finance or something like that, and you want to know how you can access information in your area that you would have to research unless you know how to do something like this. And let's say you're a tour guide and like, well, where are you heading? I'm going to tour people of this area. So, okay, well, honestly, this is something that the government's handing you for free. And you can tell when they're doing this on purpose when you start seeing things like this. You see how it says access control origin, allow origin, and it has this asterisk. That means it's open for everybody. I mean, you guys, they didn't hide this. They want anybody wants to use it, they can. So use it. Start learning your craft or start building your business. Let's take a look at some of the code. So as I was saying, it's basically here in React. I am going to go ahead and look at the data that I acquired, which is basically this. It's just all the places in the state that I got from the state. This is every location and the latitude and longitude. And it's pretty small, actually. It's not even a big deal. So I just grabbed it off of their open API and saved it because it's so simple. Anyway, and then from there, I am going to bounce it off of here. So I go through. My first list is over here. I tell it to start the location as it's been mapping through my local data. Start location. Goes through the local and finds out which number we're asking about within our local data. It finds that, and then it sets it off to look for the location. The first location is the one we asked for, so it goes first. We're going to set these up to default so that we're not going to show a whole bunch of the information because we've already chosen it here. We wanted to have it as the title. And then from here, we have API calls, 2 of them. Now, this is an array. The first one is a generic search, like we talked about. And all I'm asking is the name of the town. The second API call goes to this item in the array, which is much larger. Now, I've got what I did here a minute ago, but now I'm adding, I don't want it exact. I want the latitude and the longitude are going to be in there, and the location is very specific about the radius. And we have a ton of parameters. We're asking about facilities. We're asking about tours. We're asking about any number of things based on the options they've given us on their website. So we're doing 2 API calls. One of them's kind of broad, and then the next one's the same place but much more specific. Anyway, you can tailor these to fit however you want. That's the beauty. Like, they're allowing you to do that in one. You have to do one search at a time. You can tailor this to do multiple searches if you just however many are in this array. And so you can tailor it to fit a very specific search, and you can call the same place multiple times. So to make these multiple API calls, I'm doing a loop. And as you can see here, this is the get to the API address listed here. And J represents 0 and then 1 through this loop. So this is 0 is the first one, and then 1 is the second list on the list. Since they're all designed the same, I can ultimately assume they're all going to be structured the same. So I'm going to build them out to the structure that I want, which is name, description, URL, image, directions, reservable, yes or no. And then here's the location with the latitude and longitude. And this is the object I want to use on my app. So I'm just extracting what I need. And I use a spread operator as I go through. And I also want to make sure that if this has already been listed, because I'm saving the names right here, and if the name's already listed, let's say index of -1 only can be pushed in here. If it's already in there in the list, then it wouldn't be -1. It would be a number which represented the index of where it's located in the list. So therefore, -1 means it's not on the list yet, and you can go ahead and add it. Same thing goes for here. And if I don't have specific things, I can't have a blank. It'll break everything. So default will work fine. I'm going to be expecting default in case they don't have that information, so I've prepared for this. Now, I don't know why, but sometimes the government websites will just hand you things that have nothing to do with where the location is. So it always refers me back to the Tonto National Forest for some reason. I don't know why. So what I've also told it is, hey, this is the location, latitude and longitude I'm looking for. So as we go through this data, only give me the data that matches this latitude and longitude. Otherwise, I don't care. So if the government hands me something that's on the other side of the state, I'm not going to list it on my website. And we move forward. Anyway, another spread operator, because what we're doing is looking for different results through one is my local, and then one's going through the data that we already have, as you can see here. This is from the local, and that one's from the actual data we received. And then we compile them. And then from our map component, as you can see here, I've had this component basically put into another file. So we're just passing in a little bit of information, and if we don't have any information, we'll basically have this default up here. It's a ternary operator based on how long of the data we have. And if we have actual data, we'll show the map, and if not, we'll just show the title. And if we actually have parks nearby, which hopefully we would, here I'm going to ask it to show all the information. Now, if it says it's a default, now keep in mind, if it doesn't have any information, like here it says if it's equals default, which is, that means they didn't have any information, then I don't show anything. And if they have information, I show the park description. Same thing goes, I show something different. If you say, based on how much they have, if they have a lot of information, then I say read more. If they don't, you'll see there'll be like surrounding area and things like that. So there's a lot of ternary operators based on, because each location sometimes, they're all built by, the data's input by different people, and they have different work ethics or different kinds of information they input. Some of them just don't put up a description, or some of them don't put up a URL for their website. Some of them don't put up an image, and some of them do. And so based on that, you have to be ready. And so, as you can see, let's go ahead and show you what the result is again. And I'll put this together. And I'll even do my filter locations as well. Let's just go to Bisbee. There we go. So Bisbee, Arizona. I'm going to click that. There's a lot of things going on in Bisbee. So I'm just going to show you what I got. Search Bisbee. I fired it off to the government website. As you can see, it's pretty basic. And my response was the first one. And it says Bisbee incorrect. Then it fired off again. So as you can see, now I started getting stuff. Because I spelled it wrong. No, I hadn't spelled it. Yeah, I did. I spelled it right. Never mind. Anyway, so I got the stuff that started returning. And then these are my multiples. Response. Yeah, this is them. So basically what I responded from the government website was 1, 2, 3, 6 places. And if I want to see those surrounding areas, I go like this and say, okay, well, in Douglas, we've got all these. And then we can start talking about what's in Douglas. And some of them, like I said, are full of information. Some of them dead links. But nonetheless, I feel like this is a great way to put something together for local travel. Like if you've never been to the area and you can want to go camping, it's like, okay, well, I'm not familiar with the area. Maybe you can tell me a little bit about it. And then I would never have thought to go to these places. So it's neat. That's great if you're just traveling across the country and you want to use it. I think these are great tools that the government's provided, that if you're learning how to use an API, this is a great way to learn to get free information access. And then from there, maybe tailor your own website that fits your needs. Anyway, thanks for listening.